Today we're doing a little bit of a different video. We're going to go over the LCS and all the changes this offseason. I have my two boys here, Jeremy and JP, and we're going to give our personal opinions on each of the team's changes and our personal opinions on who we think is going to be the best player in each role this season. And then we're going to have a debate at the end to just see what we all think differently. So to start it off, we're going to start off with TSM. I'm not going to fib. I've been a TSM fan for a long-ass time. Now I just fucking hate the organization. I can't not stand TSM. I hope some other teams can kind of like do the opposite of what TSM has done, obviously, as you've seen by the double lift video and stuff like that. But I guess I'll start with you, Jeremy. What do you think of this overall TSM team, just from the look of the team as we can see right now, and then we're gonna just kind of go team by team from there on.
Right. I'm a bit biased. I'm a Cloud9 fanboy, so I've always rivalry with TSM. But I mean this TSM roster. I actually watched LPL. So if it is Cream that they sign, he's a pretty good up and coming rookie in LPL.
Yeah.
But I just don't see this roster being good.
Yeah.
Like it just seems all over the place. Like Speak is really good, but then Hooney's just kind of there. Tactical was a good signing, but then you just have two random LPL rookies. It just feels like they're just trying to plug holes.
Yeah, I agree. I think Kareem, if he is the one that gets signed, I think he's definitely an upgrade from PoE. I think PoE is just kind of like inconsistent. But I guess you'd kind of see that we've had players come from other regions into North America before, and they do horribly. So I guess it's solely dependent on like one, how the atmosphere is and the structure of the team. But as we kind of were pushed into by like double lift and all the drama and shit, I think it could be bad if they do not start off on the right foot. And then obviously, like you said, we don't know their mid or their support, but Shen Yi, I think, is expected to be, as far as we know. And he's from the Fun Plus Blaze, like the academy roster for Fun Plus. So I think they're like a solid team, maybe like middle of the pack. But JP, what do you think overall about this team?
I think this team is not gonna like. I have to agree with Jeremy here. I used to be a TSM fan as like Wild Turtle joined in with the Panakill and whatnot, but then with the whole drama around Reggie. But I don't want to talk about that. I want to talk about like their roster for next year. I think it's not gonna be good, just because for me, I expected them to like pick up young NA talent, but they did say like they're trying to pick up like these unproven talent. They didn't specifically say NA, but it's. I think it's. I don't know. I think it's just not gonna go super well.
Yeah, I think so
It's
too.
definitely gonna be better than like this year for sure, but
yeah,
it's super big.
I think it's like we said, it's dependent on one, how they do in this season and who they end up picking up, and if they can kind of win these like matchups against the stronger teams, which I'm not going to say yet because we're going to go over that after we go over each team. Yeah, it almost seems like on paper they sound good, but are they actually going to be good? And then that all goes into team structure and everything, like I had mentioned previously. So since Jeremy is the resident C9 fanboy, give us an overview of the team.
Okay, we got the best team in NA. No, I've seen like a lot of people say that it's gonna be a bad roster because Fudge is just role swapping.
Yeah.
But I've seen it. I've watched a lot of things on it, and LS, who is now assigned as coach, made a good point on this roster. He said Fudge was basically just a mid laner who happened to be playing top laner. If you go back and watch his games, it is kind of accurate. Like his style was very much something that would work mid lane. And I think grabbing Summit is the biggest thing here, because Summit, despite not ever really being on like going to Worlds or being on like one of the best teams, he was always one of the best top laners in Korea. For like
I'd agree with that.
He pretty much, I think at his peak he was rivaling like even like Kin and Khan and Naguri, so he's strong, and I think that's the biggest pickup. And then I think Winsome and Berserker are very strong too, because Berserker, I think it was Guma Yusi who's T1's ADC, was specifically saying that he was afraid to train Berserker because he thought that Berserker was just going to take his role. So,
Mhm.
I mean,
Yeah,
that Gumayusi's good, and those are some words of encouragement for sure.
I think too, like, um, the additions that they made too with like, well, I guess Sven is still on the team. They also have King and they also have Berserker. I think their bot is actually pretty good with Isles as well. Like you said, talking about kind of um maintaining some players that are like underrated or never really had a chance. I think that's good with a team like as strong as this. Basically, like you said, Fudge going mid, Blabber always being very consistent, Summit probably is going to probably be the best top laner in North America. A little bit of a leak, but I think that guy just looks way too good to not be comparative to the other top laners. I think our tops in NA are honestly pretty dog shit. So um, we'll see. I mean, besides Bwipo, I guess I didn't really think of Bwipo, but I think overall this team will be top two, top three. But we'll go over that a little bit later. Anything that you want to add, JP, in this roster?
Honestly, nothing else but to like point out that who decided to name themselves Berserker as an ADC?
It's fucking
That's so
solid,
insane.
man.
That's actually insane.
That's
But
kind of
yeah,
nutty.
Name of the year.
but yeah, I'm really excited to see Berserker and Winsome, just because they're
Mhm.
these Korean unproven talent that only had a chance to play like in these amateur or academy in Korea, but now they're here in their NA and they got picked up like to play for LCS, and that's literally a huge upgrade for them.
Yeah, I think too. Like those challenger teams, if maybe like prove me if I'm wrong, but I think a lot of those challenger teams could be very good if they were in North America too, right? So they've kind of
Yeah.
proven that a lot of these younger talents that are in Korea that are coming into NA now, they're going to be really really good, and they're gonna, like you said, they're going to be like hungry to try to like shit on all of North America. But I also want to
Oh
say
yeah.
too, they did pick up LS that happened a couple days ago, so I think he's gonna do really well with these Korean players as well to kind of bring them in and make them feel comfortable because he is obviously English speaking and Korean speaking, so
Mm.
that's also a really really big plus. Team Liquid. So
I
I'm
w-
just go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was sorry. I was gonna say one more point. The one thing I am concerned about with this roster is the fact that Summit, Berserker, and Winsome don't speak a lot of English. And while LS does speak Korean, his Korean's not very good.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
So, yeah.
I could see that being a problem. You see that with any game, any esport where they have people from different languages, different backgrounds that just come in and they just kind of play. But you'll see like way back in North America when they'd have like when Someday first came and you just see like random TPs and you're like, wait, what the fuck did he TP for? Like shit like that. So
Yeah.
that stuff can definitely happen. It's language barrier happens. I was gonna start on into Team Liquid. I'm just gonna do a rundown of this team, and then JP, you could start this one off. So, Team Liquid's top is Bwipo, jungle Santorin, mid is Bjergsen, Hansama ADC, and Corey JJ still on the support. What do you think of this team overall, and do you see this team having any issues as a roster?
Okay, so I'm gonna be super biased about this. I'm not a Team Liquid fan. Don't worry about it. It's just because my boys Centaurian and Hans are there. So
Yep.
I think, in my opinion, in my solid opinion, this is a good like domestic NA team. And I kid you not, I might be right. I might be wrong. This team could also perform really, really well on international and could break out like literally get out of groups. So Whipple,
Hmm.
should say maybe top one, like top three, like top laners in NA. I think that's true. And with Centaurin, he's like Centaurin will do anything. He's like if Xmithy was better. Like Centaurin is literally Xmithy 2.0 but better. I
Yeah.
kid you not. This man can play tanks. He can play like carry junglers. Oof! Just give me some Centaurin, man. I love it.
Yeah.
Bjergsen, I know Jeremy hates. Not hate,
It's
but
not
still
true.
think. No, I'm just kidding. I'm
Hold
kidding.
on,
I'm kidding. I'm
hold
kidding. I'm
on.
kidding. Chill out. No, I think Bjergsen isn't. I don't think it's a change from Jensen. I don't think it's an upgrade as well. I think literally nothing changed in the mid lane, but
Mhm.
there is some like good communication. I know Bjergsen is a really good shot caller, so I'm not like super disappointed with this pickup. I'm actually excited for Bjergsen to join TL and Hansama Core JJ. I know that Hans is super excited to play with a world champion support, so I'm not like I'm super excited to just see them play
Yeah.
together. I think like Hansam. I'm pretty biased. Hansam is probably my favorite AD carries to join NA, and I really want him to like destroy all these AD carries, even in my even in
Even on
FlyQuest.
your own team, yeah.
Yeah, even in my own team, I really want Hansawan to just perform really, really well,
No,
and
you
this
gotta
man deserves a title. Like
you
he
gotta you
really
gotta
wants.
hope that he does really bad so that he gets kicked off TL and then FlyQuest
Joins,
picks him
yeah,
up.
Oh
exactly.
my
The
god!
old
Oh
the
my
old
god!
Uno reverse card right there.
The old Uno
Um,
reverse.
yeah, I'm gonna chime in real quick. I think this team is really good too. If any problems, there was some leaks that I saw. For those that watch like Travis Gafford or like I Will Dominate. And I know a lot of people don't like I Will Dominate, but I did watch one of his videos, and they were talking about Team Liquid might possibly having some internal issues right before the season started. Not with the players necessarily, but just like overall things that they want to do as a team. I think Bjergsen coming in, like you said, is going to be a really good shot caller because he was previously a coach. But
Mm.
um, how I guess no one really necessarily knows how much he's played, how consistent he has been. I don't think he'll be bad. I think he will be good. I think they're a team that maybe at the beginning of the season that we see with a lot of these like powerhouse rosters might come in and not do so well at the beginning, like maybe the first 1 to 3 games, but then after that they'll just like go on a huge winning streak. So I could see that being a big thing for them. But as you mentioned, I don't really see any other bottom lane being as good as theirs. You could obviously say, like we just went over Cloud9, they have a pretty good
Mm.
bottom lane as well. Um, but yeah, I think overall this team will be very, very good. I'm not really going to go over the coaching. I think that's pretty boring to be honest with you. But we'll see how this team does. Whipple also, we forgot to mention, is back in the top too.
Mhm.
So
Right.
I think he was more comfortable there and overall, and he was on like a really messed up Fnatic team going into like last year's Worlds. So
Definitely.
yeah, we'll see how he does, but I think he'll do overall pretty well. Jeremy, do you want anything to add to this one?
The best thing about these three rosters that we just talked about is the fact that you basically got what's it called? You basically have the three rosters of TSM representing China, C9 representing Korea, and TL representing EU.
Yeah,
It's
There's no
truly
NA.
something beautiful. Um, but yeah, I honestly like I've seen, everyone's thinking that this TL roster is like, super, super strong. I honestly think that while they are probably number one,
Mhm.
I think that they're a bit overrated.
I could see that.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
in the sense of people seem, I've talked to JP about this, but I keep
Mm.
like going on Reddit and just like seeing video after video of just like, TL best NA roster ever, and I'm just like, yeah, I mean they're strong and they definitely have the potential to be the best roster ever, but Bjergsen is like an upgrade in terms of like a leadership role, but
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
Jensen was
Yeah.
mechanically better.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like
100%.
Jensen is the
Mm.
better mid laner in terms of mechanics. Hansama, while I think is really strong, I don't think he's like by far better than tactical. I think he's
Yeah,
not as big of an upgrade as people think.
yeah,
Um, the one thing I was gonna say is the Core JJ Ayla situation, but it seems like Core JJ has got his green card, so I don't think that's gonna be a
yeah.
situation anymore.
Yeah, I would say, sorry to interject, I was just going to say, I
No, for sure.
think too, Bjergsen is very meta dependent. I think
Yeah.
he can
Okay. Yeah.
definitely carry very hard when it's meta dependent. That is in his favor. You saw before where it was like Zillion or Syndra every game, and Syndra would be banned, so he's on Zillion every time. And Zillion isn't necessarily not a carry player, but he's not that high late. I want to make plays. I want to rotate on the map, do a lot of things. It's
Mm.
kind of like you're more of like a supportive mid role,
Mm.
which I think the last couple of splits or seasons have been more like that. Obviously, you still see characters like Syndra and other stuff that is able to be bursty, but I think that will be very meta dependent for him. Um, and like you said, I think to touch on what you said about Santorin, that's also a big thing because he could play literally anything. Where if you have a meta, which we obviously don't really know as of right now, but if you do see a meta where it's tanks or favored, he will be very good. If it's like Cloud9, if it's Blabber, he can play everything, but
Mhm.
maybe not as what's the word 100% corrective or correctly when he's not playing carries or he's not playing like those dive in, do a lot of damage, or do a lot of CC sort of characters. So I think that's definitely one thing to touch up on. We'll jump.
I,
Oh, go ahead.
I I will also say that Santorin, while he definitely is extremely good, he did not have a good last year. He had a pretty bad
Yeah,
last year.
I'd agree with that.
And a lot of that was because of, he
Health
had to be
issues.
subbed out because of health issues.
Mhm.
But I think when you're looking at this team, how to beat them, I think Santorin definitely is the thing to look at to
Mhm.
Exploit.
take advantage of. Yeah, exploit.
For sure.
Um,
All
yeah.
right, we'll jump on into 100 Thieves. Does anybody want to take them on? I mean, I'm gonna just say it right now. I think this team will do okay. I just think their overall roster is kind of boring. I don't know if that's just because of roster changes or off season. I just don't really. It's not that I dislike this roster. I just don't. I don't know. I'm indifferent. I didn't even know how they did that good last season. To be honest with you.
I will take this if you.
Yeah, give her.
I I am a big fan of the 100 Thieves roster. One because I was really into the Golden Guardians roster that kind of made the
Yeah.
miracle run.
Mhm.
And then obviously the four of the players went to
Yeah.
100 Thieves, and then they got rid of Demonte. But I honestly think this roster is huge. I think that they're I think people kind of overlook the fact that they really weren't that they were a good team last year, but despite winning, they really weren't number one at other than just like right at the end.
Yeah.
So while I think they are like a good top, possibly top three roster, I think what did I put them in my thing?
I think you put
I
them number
I put
three
them
or four.
fourth. Yeah, I put them fourth. So I definitely think that they have the potential to be top three. I think pretty much there's like these four rosters are by far the best. The what EG, C9, TL, and 100 Thieves are by far better than the rest of the teams. But yeah, I think the biggest thing is FBI and Huhi are such a strong bot lane. I think like you have a lot of good synergetic bot lanes here. Like Luger and Poom have played together. Johnson, Aframu have played together.
Mhm.
I think Lost and Ole have played together.
Temporary, like for a bit.
Yeah. But anyways, yeah.
GGS.
I think Berserker wins. Like you have a lot of people who look like this season has a lot of bot lanes with like really good synergy.
Mhm.
But I think FBI and Huhi have the best synergy. Out of all these bot lanes, they really play together. Like they just like it's like their brains are synced. They're a hive mind.
To play
Um,
to play devil's advocate on that, do you think who he plays as well as he did last season, or do you think last season was a little bit of a not necessarily a fluke, but he went above and beyond what he was predicted to do?
oh yeah, I mean definitely he. Nobody really expected it. I mean, he was just some like shitty mid laner that nobody really cared about
Yeah.
forever. Nobody really expected him to be that good, and he popped off. Like, it's definitely possible that he's not as good as last season.
Yeah. Okay.
And I think when you look at this roster, he's like the question mark, really.
Okay.
Because I think closer is very consistent. I honestly think Abadage is the best mid laner in NA right now.
Oh.
That might be controversial.
Wow. Okay.
Spoiler.
That's a big take. Big take. Okay.
Because I think at the end of last split, he definitely was.
Okay.
And you have a lot of people who can rival him, like Bjergsen, Jojo, Fudge. But I think Abadage has the fact like Bjergsen's coming in after a year of being off into a new team. Jojo's new, Fudge is new to his role.
Mhm,
So I
that's
think
fair.
Abadage definitely can be taken over. But I think at the start he will be the best.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
He's
I
very
think that-
strong. And then obviously you got Someday who's been underperforming recently. But also have Tenacity, who's a really, really strong up and coming player.
Mhm. Mhm. Okay.
So
I don't think there's anything else. JP, do you have anything you want to add, or can we jump on to Evil Geniuses?
The only thing that I really liked about 100 Thieves is that they're promoting this 6-man roster with Tenacity. And
Mhm.
I'm a sucker for rookies. I really want like new faces to come in LCS to prove that they're better than their counterpart. So if I see Tenacity like performing like super well, then someday
Mhm.
I'm sold. I am sold. Like I don't hate someday. Don't get me wrong. I don't hate someday, but I really want to see rookies.
Okay. I feel that. I also
If
want to say. Oh, go give it.
sorry, I was gonna say if Tenacity wasn't picked up this season, like the LCS teams were trolling.
True. I also want to say too on that 100 Thieves the third member on that top lane role is Gamsu, who many know is like a really really old top laner. He
Mhm.
previously played for Dignitas, I believe, and then he swapped
Yes.
over and he was a professional Overwatch League player, and now he jumped
Yeah.
back into League of Legends. So I think that overall that's just like a really cool storyline that he's still that good that he's able to play on an
Yeah.
academy roster or a
For sure.
presumably academy roster. So jumping on into EG, I think in my personal opinion this is one of the more enjoyable teams to watch. They have Impact in the top lane, Inspired in the jungle, Jojo Pyun, I think that's how you pronounce his name. I'm just going to say
Yes.
Jojo,
Yes.
Danny, and Vulcan. So Vulcan obviously coming from Cloud9. Jojo, who was on the Academy roster, and then Inspired, who came from Rogue. I think this team is actually really, really good. I think if anything on this roster is maybe Danny and Impact to a certain extent. Impact didn't really have the greatest season last year, I don't think. I think he was a better player on the team, but it's kind of now with these top laners that have been around for so long, like we were mentioning, can they still
Mhm.
play at the high value in the top lane role?
Mhm.
Danny, obviously, I think he's good. We'll just see how good he really is when he's compared to these other fairly strong bottom lane two mans, because this year I think out of most years is probably the strongest bottom lanes. I mean, prove me if I'm wrong. And then we'll just see how
Yeah.
JoJo does. But I'm excited for that guy too. Apparently, he's a very, very good player. A lot of people are very excited for this presumably rookie to come in and kind of be like a star on this team. So I'm excited for this team. But JP, what are you excited about this team, or what do you think this team might not do so well this season?
I have to agree with like Impact. I think he's getting like outclassed by some of these younger talents,
Mhm.
or even like people that he's unequal slash maybe slightly lower. Like I think Hooney's slightly better than Impact. I might be wrong about this, but in terms of like mechanically, I think Hooney's like slightly higher. Summit is
Mm.
gonna be like Impact is gonna get outclassed by Summit for sure. Whippo, yeah.
Okay.
Someday for sure. Licorice is like I think Licorice is the only person he can rival with in terms of like. But I think again, Licorice is just slightly better.
Okay.
And uh, and for the other one, I think I have to agree with Danny, but I also have to add Jojo Pyun. It's gonna like it's the rookie's first time playing for LCS, so it's there's gonna be like some like nerve. Like he's gonna be nervous when playing.
Hmm.
He's gonna have to like perform at his peak than he when he normally plays in academy,
Yeah.
because he's playing with people like Vulcan, with Inspired, with Danny and Impact. Those are like
Hmm.
almost well-known names, especially like Inspired and Vulcan, who went to Worlds this year. So he wants to make a great like impression that he's good and he can compete with these other mid laners.
Yeah.
But overall, I believe this AG roster can make it to playoffs, maybe even to like finals if they can. But
Hmm.
I think they can like for sure just be a be a very like top NA team.
Cool. Jeremy, do you want to add anything else?
I actually feel very differently than you guys do,
Okay.
apparently. Um, so last season we saw in the top lane. Top lane was kind of like a weak role last year,
Oh
despite
yeah.
having some higher level names. Because in Spring Split, you basically had two players performing 10 times better than everyone, and that was Alfari and Impact. And then in spring and summer, sorry, you had two players playing 10 times better than everyone, and that was Fudge and Impact. And the entire year, Impact was basically number two. Um, and I think that now he might get kicked down a notch because Summit and Bwipo have joined. But I honestly think he can rival that second spot with Bwipo. I think Impact is highly underrated. I think
I
he
can see
is
that. Yeah, I agree.
consistently smashing top level players.
I think the thing that a lot of people say with Impact is not necessarily the fact that he was carrying in his top role. It was like the outside of the lane phase portion of games, you could kind of see that he wasn't at peak performance. He definitely would say, I would say, to I guess contradict what I said earlier, I would say he was still a good top laner. I still would say he was like a top 3 top laner. I think the difference about him was he has troubles, I think, like you said, when he is up against better players. And if, again, the meta doesn't fit what he wants to play, I don't think he's that good. If he's playing tanks when, like, Ornn was in meta, he was great. He was amazing. I just could see him falling down now a little bit more based on the fact that, one, he's an older player, and last year his team was not that good. So if he has a good team, I think, it's kind of like what they say. If you have a good team, your players are going to shine. If you have a bad team, your bad side's going to show, right? So I could see that happening again. But yeah, I definitely could agree with what you say too. Like, it's literally a 50-50 toss up with a lot of, like, everything we say again is like a 50-50 toss up. You never know. Fucking TSM could be the best team in the world coming into, or best team in North America coming into this season, and they just destroy everyone. Like, we don't really know. This is just our personal opinions, but yeah.
I definitely feel like I just feel like Impact was actually at his best this split when he was playing more like Kennen and
Yeah, that's true.
those
I guess
yeah,
this top,
overtakes.
I think the top meta was just like, it was either
But all over the place.
somebody getting stomped or somebody stomping, or it was just boring.
That's
Like,
fair.
nothing happened. You know what I mean? So
That's fair.
I guess you can't really put top lane on a pedestal or you can't not put them on a pedestal. But I think just for me, a person who previously played top a lot, I just kind of felt that it was a little bit boring at most times. But like you said, it was probably the least impactful lane this year, I would think.
Definitely.
So
This year was a bit rough for top. I think though, speaking of the rest of the roster though, I think I had EG as number 2.
Okay.
Because TL was going through that situation where they didn't know if Core JJ was gonna get his green card.
Okay.
So they didn't know if they're gonna be playing with Ayla or not.
Mhm.
So I had them at number 2. I bumped TL up above them after Core JJ got locked in. But
Okay.
I think this roster can honestly fight for like even number 1.
Mhm.
Like Inspired is so good. Like he is fighting for number 1
Mhm.
at jungler.
Oh,
You
yeah.
have Impact, who I think can fight Bwipo and Summit. You know Jojo, who is honestly looking like he looked absolutely insane in Academy last year. And Danny came in his first split and was basically number 2 ADC last split in his first year. And then Vulcan, I think, had a rough year, but he's still Vulcan.
Yeah, he's still on a good enough team where it can, even if he does not play to his standard, he can still look good because his team was so strong, right? Then basically the entire year. So,
Oh, yeah.
we'll jump into Golden Guardians. I'm not a big fan of this team, honestly. I think they're definitely not that bad on paper. I'm excited to see what they can do, and I do really like this pickup of Pride Stalker. I think he's a really, really good player. Jeremy, what do you think of this team? Or sorry, let's go JP. JP, what do you think of this GGS roster?
Oh, baby. I'm going to start with the top lane because holy shit. Jeremy and I literally watched Spring Split,
Okay.
LCS.
Okay.
And not to shit on Niles, but my god, I felt bad for him. He's getting camped nonstop. His fucking KD was completely shit. Like, my lord.
We all breathed a sigh of relief upon hearing that he was retiring after his first year.
I don't think he was retiring. This guy got manhandled so hard, he dug himself the deepest hole he possibly could and said, I'm gonna go switch to a different fucking game. Because, dude, I'm sorry. That guy was not... Like, I understand he's getting camped, and League of Legends is a team game. But, man, that guy is just not it, man. I mean, these GGS rosters haven't really been it for a long time, besides that, like, miracle run you're talking about. But, man, that guy must have been deeply depressed seeing that gray screen the entire fucking season.
Yeah, I will say in his credit, the summer split in Academy, he was actually one of the best top laners in Academy.
Yeah,
but,
that's fair.
It's still that everyone's just gonna remember that awful LCS season.
Going to Academy and going to the actual LCS is like playing hockey on the pond outside your backyard and then jumping into the NHL. And you could clearly see Niles did not know how to tie his skates. That's basically the equivalent. When you see that guy play sometimes in the LCS, it was like, dude, what the fuck is he doing? Where he's like randomly fighting, and he has like 2 wards showing the jungle. The jungle's in his try when they're on blue side, and he's like, okay, he's there. Why are you fighting? And then he just like goes in like just absolute deep sea diving, jumping off the fucking deep end. And you're like, what the hell is this guy doing? But anyways, yeah, I think this roster is a lot better. I think Pride Stalker is huge. He was on that Mouse roster last season, so I definitely think that's an upgrade. They have a Blaze Olive from their academy team, and they picked up Lost, who's on TSM, which you said, Jeremy, you thought was a pretty solid AD carry player. I think he was probably I'd say maybe top 3-4 player. Definitely either is playing Int Central or is doing hard carrying, but I think he's a pretty solid player for this bottom row with Ole. Maybe Ole's a little bit older, but I don't think this is a bad team necessarily on paper. It just depends on what they can do in the live games.
Can I add?
Oh yeah, you go. Sorry.
Okay, like not to, again, like obviously I felt bad for Niles, but obviously from collegiate to instantly LCS wasn't like a good way to like start off your career for an LCS team. But
He's
no,
back to collegiate now.
Yeah, he's back to collegiate. I think
he joined Maryville again.
Yeah, he went back.
He's just gonna waste away in the collegiate scene.
Waste away in the zero effort collegiate era.
You know what? I mean, he gets to go study in college and maybe win some trophies. So why not?
That's true. Maryville is like what, probably a top contender, like almost they are every year.
They win like every year.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I think Licorice is a really solid top laner. I think this is a good pickup. I thought they would like stick with solo, but I guess it didn't work out. So Licorice is good upgrade on that.
Good
Pride
thing.
Stalker, I'm not sure because I don't pay attention to like other region as much. But I'm pretty like I'm an open book. I'm ready to see some improvement talent. So I'm pretty hype. Blaze Olive, I think he was a mid-tier mid laner. Same with like Palafox.
Yeah,
so Palafox was not a mid-tier mid laner. Palafox was shit.
For me.
Palafox was shit, he says. We'll talk about him in 2 teams away.
And this is, I will say, this is someone who was a C9. He was on C9 Academy, and I actually liked him, but he was shit in LCS.
Well, yeah. Okay. I'm really excited for Blaze Olive to like to see him perform. Lost and Ole. This is a really good bot lane. Not like super high, but at least like Ole being the veteran could probably like calm him down. It's a completely different experience from Sword Art. So I'm really excited for like this bot lane. It's not gonna be like super strong, but
see what happens, kind of thing.
Yeah. I definitely will say with this roster, it's very much hit or miss for me.
Oh, yeah.
Like Licorice and Ablaze, last split on Golden Guardians definitely were like the carries. They have really good synergy with each other. I think they're really close friends and everything, so that helps. Pride Stalker is a question mark for me because he played really well in U Masters and shit, but we did see him in the LEC briefly. And he was inting. He got benched real quick. For amazing too.
Yeah.
And then Lost is a weird player because he performs very well at times and very, very bad at times. I think like a lot of the time I think he's like at least 20% of the reason Sword Art ran away from NA. he into the fuck out of Sword Art, so
yeah, I could see that.
But I think this bot lane is definitely the weak point. Lost is very much gonna be really fucking good or really fucking bad. And then Ole, last time we saw Ole, he was falling apart because of he had a lot of mental
issues,
mental problems, and he had to like leave to go, fix those. So hopefully he's back at like Immortals, being the best support in NA. But hard to say.
Yep. I think like you said, Lost definitely a coin flip. Guy either is playing Intville or he's popping off on characters. Could depend on what ADC meta characters are being played. And I guess depending on what those characters are, we might see him do a little bit better this split. But they're like a weird team, I think, where they could possibly do really, really well, or they just might be like absolute dog shit. But we'll kind of see going forward. But jumping into the number 1 FlyQuest fan I know, JP, give us the rundown and be as biased as possible, please.
Fly number 1, I'd say.
I want you to know. However biased you're gonna be, I'm gonna be the opposite.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll be real. I'm gonna be real here. I'll be real.
No,
Here.
I'm not
made
gonna be
sure-
real. I'm gonna straight up shit on them harder than they deserve.
Okay, go. Go
I
ahead,
made
JP.
sure to like wear my entire fucking FlyQuest gear. I have the fucking.
Okay, send me a picture and I'll put it in the video.
Oh my god. Oh shit, and I have to take a picture of it
You
later.
can do it
Yeah,
after.
take it
You can do
after. Take it
Yeah.
after and send it.
With this roster, I believe like fuck my knee. They're top 5 at best, just because. Honestly, I don't know. Honestly, Kuma and Hosidioto and Takuli. Kuma's like, I'd say his playstyle is like same as Takuli. They're like super aggressive. They like to fight. They're skirmishers. And with Hosidioto,
Mhm.
he's like budget Blabber, or in the sense that he's not as good as Blabber, but he likes to like play
Mhm.
these skirmishing champions. And for their bot lane, Afro and Johnson, I have to agree with Jeremy here that I don't think Afro is like super good. He's not like
Mhm.
2015 and 2015 spring and 2016 no 2015 summer and 2016 spring TLG Afro. So
Or
maybe
his
the only thing
100
that
Thieves.
Afro
His
yeah,
first
or
split on 100 Thieves.
yeah, and his first split in 100 Thieves as well. He's not gonna be this mechanically good player, but in terms of leadership, which was FlyQuest was lacking last year, I think that's the big thing that Afromu can bring to this table, because clearly they're missing like a lot of a really good shot caller here.
Yeah.
So I can really like see Afromu just like making sure everyone's on like a level head. They're not like super hypey. So I'm pretty excited with that, and he's paired up with Johnson, which was his previous bot laner back in Dignitas in 2020.
Okay.
So overall, this team is really good. Could possibly like beat like some of these top teams like the TSMs and possibly the EGs and 100 Thieves, but I don't think they can compete with the C9s. But
Yeah. Okay.
Overall, I'm super excited with this roster, and I'm super biased. That's it.
All right, Jeremy. Now Jeremy's gonna throttle everything you
yeah.
just said.
All
Let's see what he
right.
does.
Kumo-
Crank it up. Crank it
Kumo,
up.
literally worst player I've ever seen. No, I mean, I think that this split pretty much comes down to those top 4: TL, C9, 100 Thieves, EG. I think those are like, I think miles ahead of the rest of the league. And then I think FlyQuest and Immortals, maybe TSM, are like those middle of the pack rosters.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think FlyQuest can get a solid 5th place. I honestly think that this roster is definitely an upgrade. Last year they had like a lot of potential, but their roster just seemed to not really know how to play together.
Lost.
No, it was like solo queue. It was like watching solo queue. And I think that the biggest thing here is adding in Afromu is huge. It gives them a team leader, it gives them some consistency. Him and Johnson played on Dignitas and looked pretty good together on Dignitas. So yeah, that's the thing. Takuli, I actually watched the U Masters a lot and the LFL, and he's fucking good. He's a good player. So let's hope he lives up to that. Because you know, if so, him and Hosidioto, I think, can absolutely pop off. And Kumo definitely has his work cut out for him. I think he has been. I think he's been pretty consistently okay. You know, even like when he was on EG, and you know now FlyQuest. I think he's a good player. I think the biggest question marks for me is Kumo going to int. And are we gonna get 2018 100 Thieves Afromu, or are we gonna get 2019 100 Thieves Afromu? And that's a big question.
Or 2020 Dig Afromu.
I mean, that was pretty good. Yeah, 2020 and 2021, he was back and forth.
Again, I think this team is 100% a coin flip. Are you gonna hit it on the heads where they're gonna be like smurfing and just destroying, or are they gonna be on the tail side where they're just absolute bought Bryans and they're just dog shit? I think if you look at the team on paper, looks interesting, looks cool, enjoyable team. I think it's one of those teams, I put it this way, there's those teams that are like they're going to be the high-profile teams, the C9, TL, EG, 100 Thieves, or they're these like potential fun rosters, which you would probably put like what TSM, Fly, IMT in, where it's like these teams could be good or they could be really bad, but they look like they would be a fun team to watch. You know what I mean? So
Definitely.
I think that's kind of the way that I've structured my teams, not to go ahead or anything, but that's kind of the way I've looked at it. But besides that, yeah, Fly looks cool. I'll probably watch them play. There's definitely teams that I don't want to watch play, and that's CLG. So if anybody wants to take this one,
I'll definitely take this one then.
Oh,
Give her.
God damn it. Okay.
I actually think CLG finally, after years of making the most int fucking rosters I've ever witnessed, CLG literally were fucking fighting for the worst esports team in like existence.
In any MOBA, period.
In any game.
Yeah.
They were fighting for that award. But this roster is so much better. And like I'm not gonna act like this roster is like, strong. But it's filled with players who are up and comers. And I think that's exactly what CLG need to do. They spend they buy cheap rosters and try to, get some new players into the league.
Mhm.
Like that's so much better than just recycling expensive trash players to like int. Like, and they're not going to end up playing any better because they've already played for like 10 seasons. Right? Like
that's fair.
At least if they're going to be a bottom team, they can bring in new players, which is so much better. And I honestly think that this roster, I like all these players. Like Luger and Poom definitely absolutely shit on some kids in Academy. Palafox kind of inted on FlyQuest, but let's be real, who didn't int on FlyQuest?
True. Made some bread on the org, planted some trees, and inted. You know what I mean?
Yep. I honestly think FlyQuest was offered for every death they were planting a tree. Last season.
They just changed it at the end of the season. They're like, every time we die, we'll just add another.
And then
tree.
they just started running it. Contracts. I think Contracts is underrated. I think he showed up on 100 Thieves 2 years ago for a bit, and then showed up on EG last year for a bit. And I honestly thought both times he looked pretty solid.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he definitely is gonna be the focal point of this team. And then Jenkins on TL was actually pretty solid. So I think this roster is probably still bottom tier, but I'm glad that they're finally bringing in rookies to play instead of just Broxa, Cobelter, Bin, Wild Turtle, and who was there? Smoothie.
So
players who aren't getting better.
JP, give your quick rundown, and then I'm gonna jump in with some hard hitting facts. Okay.
All right, gotcha.
All right, give her.
All right, CLG new roster. Again, I agree with Jeremy where it's like super budget, super like rookie heavy. Like Jenkins, pretty solid top laner. I don't think he was the worst top laner in LCS, but he was pretty solid, and he was shitting on like kids on Academy. Contracts, I think CLG needs a leader, and his contract would be like the good leader, would love to take the leadership role just because he is in the jungle. He sees everything, so obviously that's going to be like a huge factor. Palafox, in my opinion, he was like a mid-tier jungle. It was just really horrible because again on FlyQuest back in like this season, they were completely like garbage. There was no clear shot caller. There was literally no leadership at all. And Palafox is like the type of person that would love to follow orders. Like, hey, I'm gonna start ganking here. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that, and I want you to follow me. Like, yeah, sure. And he loves playing these melee assassin champions, which, like, I do agree. Palafox is really good on those champions rather than like these mages. And Luger Poom, those I agree with Jeremy again. Where these two, like these duo, literally destroy kids both in proving grounds and in academy. So I'd love to see these like two go like head to head with other bot duos and see how they match up.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna jump in. It's gonna be pretty quick, pretty vanilla. All right. When I see this roster, I see a bunch of people coming out from academy. By all means, there's no problems with this. The only thing that I have an issue with is it almost seems like every season when CLG plays, they walk like they're like a homeless person outside of on the street, but they have thousands of dollars in their backpack. I don't understand how a roster like this doesn't put some sort of money, not necessarily in not picking up rookies or picking up people that are in academy or that are people that are trying to grow into the scene. But this team on paper just looks like they didn't even attempt to make their team good at all, and they're just wasting another split. I definitely think they could do okay. I'm not saying they're absolute dog shit. I mean, no, I do think they're actual dog shit, but I don't think that they can't change the narrative of this team. But my only question is, if you're in the LCS, you paid this millions amount of money to get into this league. You've been a stable team since like 2010, right? You've been the biggest name in NA since like 2010 up until what, maybe 2016-ish time. Why are they not trying to do something? I don't understand. Like, do they have no money to pick up people? Like, I know they have like 0 teams in other esports. Why aren't they using their money to actually do something with these teams?
I think the biggest thing is they went broke trying to buy like fucking Broxa, Pobelts, or Wild Turtle, Finn, Smoothie.
Nah, I guess. I just don't get it. Like, all these other teams, they're always doing something. Like, even if it's small little upgrades. Like, putting it into like a regular sports saying, like, you always see these teams rebuilding. CLG hasn't rebuilt anything, and even those people that they did pick up were all like washed up old veterans. So I don't really understand where, like, who the people are that are making these decisions. I mean, we saw that video where they had like the Budweiser CLG video where they're all telling everybody like, yeah, we're dropping all of you guys all suck. But then they say that, but then they pick up another 5 people that they could possibly make another Budweiser ad and make money off of it, but then they don't add anybody else that's good. I don't know. It just doesn't really make much sense to me. I feel like they're just kind of inting their placement, and maybe they're going for a sell fire. Maybe they're just like, all right, let's finish off this next split and we'll sell it to somebody. I mean, we've seen it in LEC. Yeah. It's definitely an opportunity, I think, but who knows? I don't know. CLG just doesn't seem like that name hold or that name in the esports space anymore, like anyone actually cares about. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
off their touch, yeah.
They're definitely falling apart. And I think I definitely agree with you, like this roster is anything special. But I mean, I'm at least glad to see, instead of just wasting away with shitty rosters, they're at least,
Yeah. They're giving people a chance.
They're doing something instead of nothing. I mean, that something isn't much, but it's better than literally nothing.
The way I see it is these players playing for themselves instead of playing for the org. That's how my mentality would be. It'd be like, you're trying to do as best as you possibly can so that you can make a name for yourself to get on another roster, wherever that may be, and just kind of see what happens. But nonetheless, let's jump on to IMT. IMT they pick up Revenge from FlyQuest Academy, Xerxes from Astralis, PoE, who was previously on TSM, Wild Turtle from CLG, so the PoE Wild Turtle are back at it, and then Destiny also from Astralis. Jeremy, what do you think of this roster? Give us a little bit of a rundown.
I've actually been a fan of IMT for quite a while. I think that the last few years, they've actually done some pretty good stuff in the fact that, like, for like the last, like, basically 2020. Oh shit! What was their roster? They had SOAS, didn't they?
Yeah,
that was a pretty bad roster. 2020 summer though, I think that they got better. It was definitely like we saw like CLG that year, like with just such a shitty roster, just like wasting away. And then IMT like had a shitty roster, but then they were like, oh shit, okay, let's bring in a Lorem, Potluck, Insanity. They brought in some like rookie players, and they're like, okay, instead of just wasting away and being a shit team, let's take this time that we're not, at the top of the table. Let's take this time to try to get some new talent going. See if we can possibly get, strike gold basically and get a really good rookie in here. And I like that, and I think they doubled down on that in 2021, and where they had like Revenge from FlyQuest Academy. They got Insanity. I actually really liked Reyes and Destiny. They, despite the fact that Immortals never really popped up to the higher end, I honestly thought this bot lane was pretty good. And then they had Xerxes, a really, really strong European jungler, to kind of like, carry the team.
Okay.
In terms of leadership. And I thought in summer they actually did much better. They ended 20 and 25. Which was, I mean, by no means amazing, but I thought it was definitely better than a lot of people expected, and I was happy about that.
Cool.
Going into this year, they kind of did drop a few of their rookies. Power Evil and Wild Turtle definitely have that synergy. I think Here's the thing. I like the Wild Turtle pickup because Wild Turtle is by no means a bad player. Like he played shit on CLG, but who didn't?
Mm-hmm.
Before CLG, he was a top 3 ADC on FlyQuest.
Yeah.
So he definitely isn't bad, but I don't know. Like Reyes, I really liked Reyes last year. I thought he was someone that they should have kept probably.
Mm-hmm.
But Wild Turtle definitely isn't bad, and he has the synergy with Power of Evil. So
Yeah, I think too, like you said, like they have Wild Turtle and they also picked up Arrow as well, who's kind of returning back to competitive play. So even if there is problems, you can pull up Arrow. I don't think he's gonna do amazing, but he's still there.
I mean,
He's still a solid backup.
the thing is, you can't though because Zerze and Power of Evil already imports.
Oh, that's true. Well, no, isn't Arrow
Wait,
technically
I think
in
Arrow-
because he was still North America, I believe. So I don't think they counted him as one, right?
I think he got his green card.
Yeah, I think
Wait,
he said he got his
really?
green card. Yeah, I think that was on
Damn.
Twitter
On his
yesterday or
Twitter,
the day
yeah.
before. So
Okay.
they're allowing him to not be an import slot because of the fact that he's been in North America. So at least having him, I'm not saying I mean, most likely he's probably not going to play on this roster just on the fact that they have some veterans in PoE, Wild Turtle, Xerxes as well that they can kind of just like count back on. But I guess in the end that they needed help, they have Arrow, which I think is, I mean, if you come back after a short stint of not playing, I think you're definitely in the mood to show that you're a lot better than you were previously. I mean, Arrow,
For sure.
the years
played pretty
before
shit.
he jumped on the years before he jumped on Optic Gaming, he was pretty solid player, but just kind of losing his skill coming from a different region into North America doesn't help either, to be honest. So, yeah, JP, do you have anything you want to add, or can we jump on into Dig?
Well, I'm pretty excited for this IMT roster as well, just because I get to see ex-FlyQuest members Revenge, Power Evil, and Wild Turtle play together. I'm super excited for Xerxes to play.
Mhm.
I remember Jeremy told me that Destiny's like a very super underrated support in LCS. So I have high hopes for IMT. I really want them to do well. I want to see 2016 IMT to be back.
Mhm.
I definitely think Destiny could, do some damage. He hasn't yet, but yeah. I was gonna say with this roster that like I think if you go back like 4 years, this is a good roster. But I think the LCS has gotten to a point where having a good roster isn't enough anymore. You need a great roster.
Yeah,
To do
I'd
anything.
agree. I was gonna mention too. They do have the Wild Turtle PoE
Yeah.
collaboration and also the Xerxes Destiny collaboration too. So I think that's
True,
two
yeah.
things that are very, very good for this team because a lot of these other rosters are picking up a lot of people and they might not have that synergy. So this team might be one of those teams like we mentioned that at the beginning where teams are kind of learning how to play with each other, play off of each other. They might be one of those teams that start out like 2-0, 3-0, maybe 4-0, and then maybe once teams kind of figure out how to a certain play style, they might be one of those like middle of the pack teams that we probably are going to place them in.
Even Revenge played with.
Oh, that's
Power
true.
Evil and Wild Turtle.
Revenge as well. Yeah. So there you go. This team could be a solid team that just knows how to play with each other properly.
I was gonna say, Power Evil was fighting for his green card this year, and I was hoping he was gonna get it with this roster because I honestly think with Ignar being a free agent,
Ooh.
if this roster was able to get Ignar, having that 3-man FlyQuest synergy would have been insane. Also, Ignar would have been an upgrade over Destiny for sure.
I think so too. Yeah, I would agree with that.
But it's unfortunate they weren't able to get Power Evil his green card.
Alrighty. Well, the last team, in my opinion, another one of those fire sale teams. We're gonna jump on with Dig. Does anybody want to take this one? Does anybody want to give their opinions on it? Okay, JP or Jeremy, you can start it, or unless JP wants to. JP, do you have anything you want to start with?
You can take a spotlight for now.
Okay. Here's the thing. I both love and hate this roster. I honestly think that I mean, me and JP both put this in last place, and we put it in last place for a reason.
I did too. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a reason this is last place, but I honestly think that there are some. It's so close to being much better, you know.
Mhm.
Like River was a big pickup. He was strong on PSG. Over in the Taiwan PCS. What's the region? It's Southeast Asia and Taiwan.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. River definitely looked very strong on that roster, and I was excited for that. And Fake God is definitely not a terrible top laner. He was nothing special, but like he definitely wasn't like just getting shit on by everyone. I thought he
Mhm.
could pull his own. And then Neo had like a brief time with Aphromo where he looked really strong. He was I think he got like one of the splits. He ended like as a top 3 ADC in the all pro team.
Mhm.
Mm.
But the issue here is very much why the fuck did they pick up Blue? This is I was this entire offseason I was like, oh shit, no one's just recycling old trash. And then I was like, okay, Ole, it's a bit of a, you can make an argument either way. But then they picked up fucking the worst LEC mid laner by far. So bad that he got fucking benched for some dude named 2 Hours who had like never played anything before. Like this dude was fucking shit. He was
Yeah.
so bad, and Dignitas are just like, that's the guy we need. Not like Jizuke, who's a free agent, and like maybe Jizuke said no, but like, come on.
Yeah, and I
No,
100% agree.
I think just signing no mid laner would have been better than Blue.
Just playing with the 4-man. Play with the 4-man.
Literally, it would have been better. And then Biofrost, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a weird one too. I think that's just I don't know. JP, what do you got to add to this mockery of a team?
Well, the only people I'm probably gonna talk about are Blue and Bio. In my opinion, if an EU player or a terrible EU player comes here in NA, I think he'll perform well just because our mid pool is kind of like lacking a little bit. So
I could
I'm
see
not-
that.
I'm gonna like say I'm gonna say 50-50 with Blue for now.
Okay.
He's like lost. He's either gonna shit the bed or probably gonna carry. Bio, like honestly at this point, I don't know who's the shot caller here in for Dig. I think they just picked up Biofrost for content and for leadership.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah,
it.
that's fair. I mean, here's the thing though. Like, how many good mid laners are there in Academy? Like, there's some pretty good rookies in Academy. You got like Triple. You got like Harry. Even Soligo. Soligo's on the Dignitas Academy roster. Like, I mean, I know that they tried him last year and like they like decided he didn't work even though he was actually doing pretty good. Like Toppy, RJS. Like, there's good players. And they decided to go for fucking Blue. Like that honestly, that broke me this offseason. Everything else I was fine with. Like the CLG, I was like, yeah, whatever. It's not a great roster, but like at least they're doing something.
Or yeah. Go ahead.
Blue is just the biggest disappointment of my entire life.
Or they could have gone the way of like trying to pick up one of those backups in one of those roles. Like, I mean, GGS has like Ryoma. I mean, obviously it depends on if he wants to go there, but they could definitely have done something, like you said. Like I don't understand why. I said, Dignitas is one of those teams where I could see them being good if they just like kind of shit the bed for a few splits and then decide like, all right, we're dropping a lot of money on a solid roster. But then, like you mentioned, to pick up 2 guys, one being River, who I agree I think is really good, and then Blue, who I just think is absolute shit. And then picking up Biofrost, who hasn't played in a long time. It just doesn't like. I think a year off it necessarily doesn't mean you're like a bad player, but it definitely takes you out of that element of competitive play. And I don't know. It just seems like they don't make any good decisions.
Even a year ago when he was on TSM, he really wasn't anything that.
Yeah, he got pulled in for like a little bit, and then he got pulled out, and yeah, it's just I don't know.
I think this team should have went for Maple. That's all I'm saying. They could have got the River Maple special.
Yeah,
true. Get the synergy going.
Yeah, maybe Maple is getting paid the big bucks though to go to China. We don't know.
That's fair.
I think we can all agree this is by far the worst roster in the LCS, right?
I think we could just sum up Dignitas by saying fucking Blue. Fucking Blue.
Fucking Blue, man.
All right. Well, we're gonna go into the later portions. We're gonna start off with everybody say their best player in each role. I'm gonna start with you, JP. So you're gonna go top jungle, mid, ADC, support, and then I'm gonna do the same with you, Jeremy. I'm gonna do my own. Then we're gonna do our top 10 teams. We are running on an hour, so we might cut the debate entirely, but we can also do it later if we do get a decent amount of viewership for this video, which I know a lot of people were talking to me that they were interested in watching it. So maybe we could do the debate in a secondary video later. But JP, please start off with who you think is the best player in each roles. Like I said, top jungle, mid, ADC, and support.
Okay. For top lane, I'm going to say Whippo.
Okay.
I'm not sold with Summit yet. obviously I haven't watched a lot of LCK, but Jeremy has, so I'm gonna have like a different opinion.
Okay.
And for jungle, fuck, I can't stay biased now. I have to go Centauran. I love Centauran a lot.
Okay.
So I'm gonna stick with him.
Okay.
For mid lane, oh my god, is this just gonna be like, wow? All right. Yeah, let's mix it up. I'm gonna put Jojo Pune. I need some unproven talent here and there, so why not? I want to
Okay.
have some rookie aggressive style. For AD carry, I'm gonna put Hansama, and then for support, I'm going to put Core.
All right. Now, Jeremy, sorry. What is your top
Can I
fives?
just go into this by saying JP's roster is shit.
Okay, go ahead.
Summit is way better than Popo. Santorin, I honestly think there's like 4 different players who are better than Santorin right now.
Okay.
And Blabber is easily the best jungler.
Okay.
Like, I'll just give a brief rundown here. If you go, even in his bad split in summer, Blabber put up the best stats. Like, he had a bad split in summer, and even then he was putting up the best stats in jungle. So he's much, like, inspired is the only argument you can make.
Okay.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Abadage is definitely the best if you go off last split going into this split.
Okay.
I think Bjergsen can rival it, and then Jojo Pyun is a bit unproven, so him and Fudge are a bit more down. And then you got Hansama, maybe Berserker, but like Hansama, I think, and Core are probably the best.
Okay. All right. So yeah, I'm pretty much. Me and Jeremy's are pretty close. I have Summit top. I have Inspired as my jungle. I think he's pretty proven, and I think coming into North America from Europe in a somewhat fairly strong Western region, I think he's going to be by far the best. I would say Closer, I actually do think is very good too, so I'm going to put him as like a close second. Bjergsen, I have him as my mid. I think he's still going to be good. I don't really see anybody. I don't think he's going to necessarily destroy every mid laner, but I think he's just so solid overall that he's going to be good. And if the meta favors him, he's going to be very, very strong. And my ADC support is also Hansama and Core JJ. Don't really see them losing to anybody in particular out of the other bot laners. I think this split is either teams that are super strong, like C9 TL, or very weak. We see like, Johnson, Afromu, and kind of those like bottom feeder teams. I don't think their duo in the bot is as good, so I'm going to put him, Core JJ and Hansama as my bot as well. Quick rundown, as I had mentioned, we're going to do our LCS rankings. So you guys can say what your LCS rankings are, a quick maybe 1 to 2 minutes on why, and we'll all go down one by one. So I'm going to start with you, Jeremy. You're 1 to 10, or you go from 10 to 1, and then explain the reason why. Just very quickly, because we're running just past an hour, and then if we want to do another one, we can always do a debate video at another time.
Quick time.
Yeah.
Dignitas, blue. CLG, rookie roster. Immortals, could have been better with Ignar.
Okay.
TSM, don't even know their roster. Golden Guardians, they're alright, but lost is a coin flip. FlyQuest, pretty good. They have good synergy.
Okay.
100 Thieves, some days underperforming.
Okay.
EG could be number 2 if TL underperforms. TL could fight for number 1, strong roster, and C9.
But biased.
I think C9
biased.
I honestly think C9 biased, but I honestly think C9 could have 3, maybe 4 of the best players in the roles.
Mm-hmm.
You got Summit, who I think everyone agrees, other than apparently JP, that Summit is the best top laner.
Okay.
Blabber, I think, you can make the Closer and Inspired are definitely really good, and Spica I think has been underrated. He's definitely, I think those like 4 are really close. I think Blabber, though, if you look at just how good he always performs, even when he's performing bad, okay. I think you can, he can easily be number 1 in jungle. Fudge, I honestly think he could beat like all these mid laners, unironically. Okay. And Berserker, I think can rival Hansama, but Hansama is definitely currently the best.
All right. Alrighty. Well, that was a pretty good rundown. Now it's your turn, JP. What are your 10 to 1?
Dignitas, same thing with Jeremy. Blue. Golden Guardians, I think this is a pretty solid roster. Fucking lost. CLG, really don't care. It's a rookie roster. It's a rookie roster. Pretty excited. TSM, I hate TSM. Immortals.
I hate TSM. Yeah. Okay. Keep going.
FlyQuest, bias. I should put this number 1, but I'm gonna keep it real. I love this roster. It's really good. EG, good. 100 Thieves. I want Tenacity to start. Cloud9, pretty good. Could be a close number 1. Team Liquid, number 1.
Okay.
Point out that your Cloud9 who got 2nd place, you said pretty good, but Golden Guardians at 9th place, you said solid roster.
I'm
Okay.
trying to speed this up, man.
All right.
Golden Guardians 9th place, pretty solid. C9 shitters, but they get
Pretty good. They have a shit team, but they're gonna be good. Yeah.
I just wanted to piss a fellow C9
Yeah.
fan here.
Exactly. It's the content. So I have Dignitas as 10, absolute dog shit. I have CLG number 9, absolute dog shit. I have GGS at 8. Think they could be top maybe 5 to 8th place. Immortals I have at 7. I just think they will do good at the beginning, and then they might fall off once teams actually start getting good. I have Fly at 6. Fly, Immortals, TSM, 100 Thieves. I think any of those teams could switch around. TSM at 5. I have 100 Thieves at 4. I want to say TSM at 5 solely because I don't know their roster, and I think they could be good, but they could also be really fucking bad. 100 Thieves at 4. I think they have a solid team. I just don't think they're going to break the 3 kind of powerhouse roster, which is EG, C9, TL. And that is my 3-2-1. EG at 3, C9 at 2, and I have Team Liquid at 1. I just think Team Liquid has the best 5 on paper, and I think they're going to do good regardless of Bjergsen coming off, taking a little bit of a break. But, again, that is it for our LCS overview video. If you guys enjoyed, we might do a debate on our top 10. Let's say if I get over... I mean, the previous videos have been doing pretty good in my Dota series, so I'm going to say if I get like 100... plus, we will do another video of this because I do want to try to hit a couple viewership thresholds. And
LEC or LCK?
yes, we can also do LEC and LCK. If people are interested in the comments, definitely let us know if you guys are interested in us doing that because this was a lot of fun. Thank you to JP and Jeremy to jumping in as well. We kind of planned this like very last minute, but we did it before the season starts. So thank you guys again all for watching, and make sure to come check my boys out. I will have their Twitters, Instagrams, whatever, everything else in the description. So definitely go check them out and let us know if you guys want us to do another video. But thank you guys so much. Thank you guys again for popping in, boys, and we'll talk very soon.
Yep, no problem.
All right. Peace out.